We are two NPCs in the world of animation and gaming talking about the chaos of the industry. Whether you're here for the pixels, the drama, or just along for the ride, welcome to Pixelated 8. Let's press start.
Well, hello there. Welcome.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah.
Another episode of a weekly topic. Actually, it's been more than a week, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, life stuff,
Yeah,
taxes,
life stuff.
and, you know,
That's all I hear every day
it's
now,
true.
right?
It's
Tariffs,
true.
tariffs, tariffs.
Tariffs.
Yeah.
Well, on top of life stuff, that's also tax stuff.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Tax season. Yeah,
Yep.
tariffs, tax,
Yeah.
all the mundane stuff. And then it's just like, yeah, adult stuff then
Yeah.
during the weekends.
Well, I'm not retiring till like 75 now because all my stocks are down and,
Oh, geez. Yeah.
that's golden age of 65 is slowly disappearing.
Yeah. My parents yelling at me is like, I told you not to go
Mm-hmm.
invest. I told you to buy GICs or something like that. It's
That's
like,
true.
well, investing seemed like a good time before. I don't know
Yep.
what happened. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just escape reality. Okay, let me go back to my
Exactly.
video games.
Yeah, exactly. Just to add one little thing about investment, but
Yeah.
you bring up a good point about video games. But one good thing about investment, I just want to add this. I'm not a stock expert, but what I'm going to try to do now is maybe put some money into some blue chip companies, the tried and tested for a long time. Because I think right now there's nothing you can invest in. It's like, oh.
Honestly, usually it's better to look at long-term stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you gotta just put it in and leave it. Like to some degree, even if you think about like I'm talking about like blue chips. It's like resources, stuff that everybody needs, that necessity. You know,
Necessity is good
yeah, yeah.
investment.
Not video games. Not video
No,
games.
not video games. Just like before,
Yeah.
everyone was like, medical is probably good.
Yeah,
Yeah, not video games.
yeah. Not video games. But
Unfortunately.
but
But
since we're talking about video games,
yeah, no video games. I've been busy. I'll
yes.
say that like the past week or so, all the
Yeah.
free time I've been spent on FF7 Rebirth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I finally played my first Assassin's Creed game,
Ah,
and I started with Assassin's Creed Origins.
okay.
Awesome setting, great characters. I love the main character, and it's kind of cool, like seeing a minority as the forefront, right?
Oh, interesting. Now you
And I was
mentioned
like,
that.
oh, that's kind of cool, actually. And what sucks though was the ending of the game, which is because they built up this great thing, but because it's an open world game and you need to sell DLCs, you need to sell this, it kind of ends very like mutely instead of a
Oh,
big spectacle.
okay.
I was hoping a big spectacle. Usually games do the classic, oh, you're about to reach the last chapter in this game.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to do anything else? And
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, cool. Like I played Cyberpunk 2077 after all the patches, and it was great. And when I played that game, it had that moment where it's like, once you enter this building,
Yeah. It's done.
this is it. And you're like, okay, cool. But once you enter that building, oh my God, was it like an epic battle?
I think Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 16 was like that too. They
Okay.
did warn you before you
Yeah.
go into the last chapter, which is like, even for their DLCs,
Yeah.
I think they place it happened before that last chapter.
Okay, nice.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
we should say this now. Like, just beware. This episode has a lot of spoilers
Oh, you're right. You're
for
right.
your favorite
Actually,
games.
well,
Let's say that.
we actually completely forgot to say what this episode's about. This is a bonus episode
Ah,
where we're
yes.
going to talk about video games and our favorite video games and why they make it our favorite video games.
Actually, when did you start playing video games?
Me, I started with which console was it? I want to say actually the first Nintendo. No,
Or
first
like the
Nintendo.
very first, very memorable one, I guess.
Most memorable was probably Game Boy.
Yeah, I think so. For me
Yeah.
too. Like the first time like I had come in contact with video games would be
Yes.
Game Boy. Yeah.
Yep. And I used to have an aunt that used to live in Hong Kong, so she used to bring us games from Hong Kong, and sometimes they were in a different language and stuff. We were like, "What?" It was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
right?
Yeah, it was cool, but it was like it was literally the first time like you could say globalization even came to mind because I was like,
Ah,
"What is Nintendo?" Right? It was
right.
Japanese.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like, "Oh
even
wow."
before that, probably.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't even think about it. Like before then, there was no video games. I mean, I had PC games. Like I started with DOS games, but those were
Mm.
just DOS games, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Part of my timeline is a little messed up. I'm trying to remember because I definitely played Doom. I played, sorry, not Doom, Wolfenstein 3D.
Mm.
Doom was, I need a better computer.
Oh, Dune. Actually, I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Like, it was those PC games, like the ones that come with Windows, and then like
Yes. Yeah.
the other ones. Yeah,
They
yeah,
would have
yeah.
demos for them.
Yes.
You know, the most memorable game as a kid was a PC game
Mm.
called Day of the Tentacle.
Oh, I never heard of that one.
It was by LucasArts,
Mm.
and they also made like Indiana Jones: The Fate of Atlantis. They were called click adventure games. So the idea was you had to solve puzzles based
Mm.
on objects you find, but you had to be
Interesting.
very creative. For example, you had like man, I've forgotten some of them. I gotta play them again, but you just have to solve puzzles. Basically, you would have like you find a bottle, and then from in level one, and then in level three, you would find like a fountain, a water fountain,
Mm.
and you would be like, okay, how am I supposed to transport this water from location A to B?
Mm.
And sorry, I've really simplified the puzzle. It's not even that stupid. It's quite complex puzzles actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally had to be like, okay, you had to get this funnel water system going from this to this, but then you had to
Mm.
go back to like, okay, you found a towel, so guess what? You got to take that towel, you got to soak the water up, and then create like a funnel system or something like that. Something
I
weird
see.
like that. You really had to think outside the box with
That's
these
interesting.
click adventure games.
I
Yeah.
mean, you wouldn't expect, like, in my memory,
Mm-hmm.
games that old, you wouldn't really expect it to be too elaborate on puzzles.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that said, I think most of the ones that I had played when I was younger were
Yeah.
pretty much puzzle games. I mean, like, even if you look at Mario
Yep.
and Kirby, it's kind of like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
It is side scroller, but like you do have to find ways to get to like the end kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Well, I got into first person shooters, I guess, a lot, right? Because of Wolfenstein 3D. This is
Uh-huh.
after a few years. Like
Yeah.
your first set of games, was it always like because I know you like RPGs.
Well, the one that kind of leaves me a big impression was I didn't really have a console until high school actually.
Which one?
And it wasn't really at the time it wasn't even I have a console. It was more like a group of friends had like a PlayStation.
Oh, nice
And
PlayStation.
so basically like we had like one or two games and then we'll actually like borrow it like every per person just
Oh,
kind of
okay,
like
okay.
so we just kind of pass it along our group of friends
Yeah.
and we
Oh, that's
played
kind of
it.
clever. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
it was funny, but like it was also pretty good so everyone actually had been playing it. So like to me, yeah, that was like I think the first time
Yeah.
I played Final Fantasy VII was like with that like someone else's console and also like whatever the game that they bought and I was actually playing it. It was actually interesting.
Yeah.
I think at that time too, you know how PlayStation used to be CDs and everything.
Oh, yes.
And that was also the time of like bootleg.
What? You guys cracked that PlayStation?
There was like a lot of places where they would just like you bring the console in and they'll crack it. And then there's also like, you know, places where you could buy games and it's like, I guess this is not legit, right?
Piracy is wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. But like
But I did it too,
when
all
you're
good.
younger, it's like, what do you know, right? Like
Of
all
course,
we
of
wanted to do
course.
was play our favorite game and it's
Well,
like,
no,
hey, they
if you
have
think
that.
about it,
Yeah.
as a kid, we didn't have any money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The only thing we could do was rent games.
Yeah.
But even then, you could only rent them for a couple of days. You can't finish a game in a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's at the time when we were playing the games that we were interested in were mostly Japanese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't even like matter because like there's no other way to actually even get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean actually. Well, that's why I was like I would mention earlier with the Game Boy. Some of the games were Japanese, and I was just like, "What is this?" I've never like unfortunately they weren't in English, so I didn't understand
Yeah.
it.
Oh well, there was like Street Fighter, right? And
Yep, yep.
Mortal Kombat.
I can't remember. I don't know if they ever released them on Game Boy though. Those two.
No, I think well,
Yeah.
those might just be arcade games, probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, arcade games. Oh my god. What was it?
When
X-Men
arcade
versus Street
games.
Fighters. Oh, I
Oh
love that
man, when
one.
those were actually still popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a high school thing too. We would
Yes.
go to the mall at lunchtime and then
Yeah.
like there was arcade there and everyone would just go there and play.
I used to be obsessed with X-Men versus Street Fighter. And I remember once this guy, like, I was just playing by myself, and
Yeah.
this guy put his like quarter down. He's like, "You want to compete against me?" But
Yeah.
this guy was like fairly older,
Yeah.
and he went. I fought him like, but I'm a horrible player, so I just smashed button, and I beat him, and he was so angry, and he just turned around. And he's like, "Good game." I was like, "Oh, okay."
That was great.
I know. I felt bad because I was just smashing button. I was just.
I
Smashing.
mean,
Yeah.
I think at the time in arcade, if you win, you can keep playing. So it was just like,
Yep. Yep.
you're just there. If you beat someone else, like it's like, yes, I got to
Yeah.
keep playing.
One thing I wanted to add, because you mentioned RPGs, right?
Yeah.
Or you talked about your experience with RPGs.
I think most of my
Yeah.
earlier games, at least the one that were very memorable, were all like JRPGs. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I think lunchtime, friends-wise, we used to play N64 a lot. GoldenEye, Mario Kart, like obsessively.
Yeah.
Like we played it for a couple of years, basically, every lunch.
Yeah.
We went to McDonald's, bought the $2 cheeseburgers. No, it wasn't $2. It was 50 cents a cheeseburger.
Yes. Yeah. No, when
We used to
Madonna
buy,
was
like-
affordable.
Exactly. We used to buy like 10 of those each.
Yeah.
Eat it, feel like our hearts are stopping while we played while we played whatever Mario Kart and stuff.
Oh man. That's...
We played Mario Kart so much that every single level was unlocked. We had every single Mario Kart level that could be reversed.
Oh,
We
man.
found all the hacks or cheats, you could say, like where you could jump in the Rainbow Road from right in the beginning and jump to the end, and you could win right away. Everything, you name it. But it was wild. Like I forgot about the lunchtime gaming sessions.
I mean,
Yeah.
we also had like it was also the time when they slowly had those net cafes were popular.
Oh yeah, I started
Yeah.
those too. Those were fun.
Yeah, those are
yeah.
fun. We had like a whole thing about going to a net cafe on Friday after
Yes,
school.
me too.
Just
Yep.
a whole group of
Yeah.
us, and we'll take up basically their entire cafe to play CS:GO.
Where
Or
did
no,
you play?
not CS:GO. It's Counter Strike, but I forgot what version it
CS:GO.
was.
Yes,
Yep.
I do remember. I won't be surprised if we were in the same net cafe and we were competing against each other. I won't be surprised.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
because they set up the LAN game, so it's like faster, right?
Yeah.
And then usually they even have packages, so it's like, oh, if you stay there for an hour, 2 hours,
Yeah.
it includes a drink, whatever.
Oh,
So
that's
everyone would just like, oh yeah, let's get 2 hours there.
Yeah.
We have a drink, and then everyone has their own computers, and we just
Yeah.
play.
And they had a lot of good games. Like I still remember one thing. So I forgot what strategy games. I think Command and Conquer,
Oh,
StarCraft.
yeah.
So I love Command and Conquer, and I kind of got into StarCraft a little bit. So
Yeah.
I remember playing StarCraft at those net cafes, and this is
Oh.
how bad of a strategy gamer I am.
Uh-huh.
Right? So what I used to do was with friends or even my siblings, it's like, okay, we're gonna spend half an hour building our armies, and then we're gonna attack each other. Okay?
Oh my god.
So that's how we used to play, right? And I got used to playing like that.
Are you sure people listen to you? It was just like start
Oh
off
no!
and you
The
kill.
minute I went to a net cafe and we were like,
Yeah.
okay, let's play StarCraft.
Brutal. It was brutal.
It was brutal. All I saw was a wave of those. What are those alien kind of creatures in StarCraft? I forgot. The Horde.
Oh, I don't.
Something like
I don't
that.
I'm
Anyways.
not very familiar with.
The
Yeah.
most minuscule version or army, like it was just those main characters, like the cheapest ones you can buy. The person I was playing with, they had thousands of them. They didn't even bother building any of the big ships or anything. I'm sitting there trying to build a big ship and
like, let's
getting the
make this-
power ups and stuff. Nope, this guy just wiped all of us out in one go.
Oh,
with just
Oh.
and I saw his keyboard. He was like all the shortcuts. Like he
Oh.
was like just like as if he was typing
Oh
and
my god.
generating all his characters. While me, I'm like click, select,
Yeah.
create, click, select, create. I need half an hour, guys. One
It's like
sec.
you're the pro player versus like
Noob,
the
super
noob.
duper noob. Not just a noob, super duper noob.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think the only one that I really like even played a little bit was like probably Sim City. But like I don't know, eventually it's just kind
SimCity
of
was fun.
I like those planning games, but
Yeah.
also I for some reason when I'm playing games, I don't like to pre-plan like a
Ah, I see, I
lot.
see. Yeah,
So
yeah.
eventually it give up. It's like, chess games, that kind of thing. And it's
Yeah.
just like after a while I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't want to think too much.
You know what's funny? Because of the way I played the strategy games, I realized how I obviously work as well as
Yeah.
how I play stealth game. I'll sit there analyzing the entire map and seeing
Oh
where the
wow.
bad guys are. Be like, okay, if I attack from this side, I can do this. Okay, I need to
Yeah.
take out that sentry out right away. Okay, I need to do that, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like super plan all because of the way I used to play this stupid strategy game.
Ah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess turn-based would probably also be strategy as well.
I
'Cause
never played them. I still don't.
yeah, I remember like well, the interesting
Yeah.
ones would be like
Yeah.
you against a boss that you don't really know much about, and you start trying like strategies, right? What are their
Yeah.
weaknesses? What are their attack cycles, and like how you need to kind of
Yeah.
plan all your characters in your team to actually be
Yes.
able to fight it. There were quite a few JRPGs that were like that before, and it was quite fun. I think
Nice.
Chrono Trigger was one of them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Final Fantasy ones were
Yeah.
were as well.
So my brother, he loves RPG, JRPGs, and so
Yeah.
he played those at a very young age.
Ah,
Like I got
okay.
him, I think it was Final Fantasy 8 on the PC, and he had played 7 already. So I
Yeah.
got him 8 on the PC, and he loved those games. Now I hate turn-based. I hate RPGs. I said it.
That's why
I
you
said
never
it.
heard of it.
Okay? Yeah.
That's why we can't be friends.
We can't be friends. This is the last podcast, guys. No.
Yeah.
So basically, it wasn't. So here's the thing. I only play, like I said, first-person shooters, adventure games, and it was those kind of games, right? And it wasn't until my brother insisted, like forced me to play Mass Effect 1.
Ah, okay.
I was like, I don't want to. I tried it for like the
wow.
first 3 hours, and I said, I'm never playing this game. I hate it. And I put it down.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, my brother told me again, you have to finish the game. I said, fine, I'll finish. And after I got past the 3 hour hurdle, which was a stupid car thing, the Mako, I think it's called. After I got past that hurdle, the game finally picked up, and I finally understood the mechanics after that.
Ah, I see.
And then I finally played the second one. Then I became a super duper fan, and I played the third one, and then I realized the
wow.
genre is called action RPG.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And that was the first time where I was like, so here's the funny thing. So, sorry, let me just go into this anecdote about Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah.
Right? So, because I came from an action only gaming background,
Yeah. Yep.
when I finished Mass Effect 3, I was like, that was amazing. That was the greatest trilogy I've ever played, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But so many fans online, they're like, oh my God, that was horrible ending. Spoilers. They're like, oh, what the hell was that? All the choices I had over 3 games meant nothing. And I'm just like, what? What's going on here? Because I've never played RPGs, so I never knew you had multiple endings. I had no idea. For me, I'm just like, wow, that was an epic story, man. Right?
Yeah.
So for me, I love that trilogy because of that.
I
But
see.
again, my perception was different even
Yeah.
for action RPG.
I think though, like most games are made linear because like it's also how long it takes to make a non-linear one, right?
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, especially in JRPG,
Yeah.
we actually experienced the multiple ending pretty early. Like that was during Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it was like it was those, they didn't even have 3D graphics, right? It was the 8-bit graphics, but
Yeah.
like it's all multiple endings and like you can do different things. And it's just so interesting because that was like one of those games that you play when you're young, but you can
Yeah.
keep on playing again and again and you get different storylines.
Oh,
So
wow, okay.
like to us that was like I guess like super early exposure to that kind of thing. So it wasn't like that new when they introduced it afterwards. But like,
Okay.
I guess that's why a lot of people still Chrono Trigger is still pretty up there in their
Oh, really?
charts
Okay,
for
okay. I didn't
for
know that actually.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
good story, and also like
yeah.
because of all the multiple endings and everything.
Okay, wow. Yeah, for me, like that was the first Mass Effect Trilogy was the first impactful story for me. Like what was
Yeah,
yours? Chrono Trigger?
I think it
Yeah.
has to be Final Fantasy VII,
Ah, yes,
and
yes. Okay.
it's like one of those ones that has a special place in my heart, and that's why like I look forward to the remake, and it's
Yeah.
like yeah, playing the hell out of the remake right now. I guess this is a question for people. Do you look more heavily on story, or do you look more heavily on gameplay? So it's like the story versus gameplay, right?
Well, I think over the years I've become more story driven, but bad gameplay have stopped me from finishing it,
Right, I see.
right?
Yeah,
And repetitive gameplay.
I would say it's the same for me. Like story is more important, and that's why I like the JRPGs
Yeah.
because most of the stories are intriguing. I think gameplay's pretty much less for me because like turn-based games usually like the gameplay is not as intricate. Personally, I think only the recent years I've been more willing to play the action stuff
Yeah.
because otherwise it's like sometimes I just kind of don't like to. For example, I know Near Automata is a great game,
Yeah.
and I love the story and everything, and you know the music and everything is good. But like that game, the action, other than fighting, you also have like bullets, and it was
Oh.
like bullet hell. I just couldn't. Like it was just so bad for me that I
Yeah.
had to turn on the auto like shooting.
Oh, wow.
Just
Okay,
I'm
okay.
like, okay, just take care of it. I can't because like
Yeah.
when I try to do too many things at once, or like for the action ones, it's like I don't know, for like I grip the controller so hard that like my
Oh.
hand becomes stiff, that kind of thing. So I
Oof.
get too into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can't do this. No, I just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
take a step back,
I,
and
yeah.
yeah,
I think I'm okay with that because obviously my upbringing being action,
yeah,
gaming. The only thing I find I get like that where I can't do it, where I like just have to press the button or like my hands get sweaty, is those stupid QTs, quick time events.
oh
Oh
those
my
are
god, I hate
God.
them. Oh,
I hate them, but you kind
yeah.
of get used to them because like almost every game nowadays have those.
Oh, but the Spider-Man games, they actually have an option to be like automatic quick time events. I'm like, yes, please.
Oh, so it's like me, just turn on the auto aim.
Yep,
Like, oh,
exactly. I have
shoot
no
for
problem
me.
with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like I guess like, I don't know if you go into the same thing. So for me, it's like if I play the game and I keep on failing, I'm like, no, I cannot go down because like sometimes they offer
Oh, I
nowadays
see.
for
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, the difficulty
Decrease the
level going
difficulty.
down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like to my pride, I'm like, no, I need to play this on normal and I need to beat it on normal at least.
I think if I start on normal,
Yeah.
I won't change it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So,
Yeah.
but there was a recent game I had to change it.
Yeah, which one?
It was the new God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
So, but it wasn't part of the main game. It was like you had to defeat these Valkyries. And oh my god, they were so difficult. It's probably the hardest bad guys ever fought. I'm talking about like one hit kills, they would kill me.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
had to
man.
have almost like a strategic dance move with your fingers to destroy them.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
problem is, I'm not that good of a gamer. I admit it. I'm not that good. Where I could do that. So I had to lower it just to destroy the character, so I could get whatever I was. I can't remember why I did it. Maybe it was
Yeah.
achievement. Maybe it was special armor. I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe it's like
Yeah.
some kind of equipment or stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would spend time to like, you know, try again and again, but like
Yeah.
up to a point after that it's like, oh, okay, maybe I should
Yeah.
either give up or lower the difficulty.
Yes.
I think like for example, sometimes I would try it, but like let's say for the Persona games. So Persona ones, they always have like those specialty optional bosses where you
Yeah.
have to fight, and those are hard battles, right? The problem is like, for example, it is turn based, but like
Yeah.
there are so many personas you can get, and you have like a lot of abilities that you can become resistant to like an element, and you can have your persona sometimes resistant to everything. Like near end game, you have that kind of persona.
That's
Now, if you play against those specialty bosses and you use that persona,
Oh.
It's like the unwritten rule is that if you use anything that has resistance on everything and you don't
Yeah.
have a weakness, they just nuke you. The boss just like
Yes.
one hit
I know
kill,
what you mean. Yeah,
nine
yeah,
nine nine
yeah.
nine nine, and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, you're dead.
Oof.
So
That's brutal.
yeah, those are hard ones.
You
So
know,
sometimes I do it,
yeah.
sometimes I don't. Yeah.
No, you gotta. That's where it's kind of nice. The game forces you to be.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's
know,
true. Yeah.
for me, I think the closest to that was Witcher 3. So that was a great game. I love that game and the DLCs. Amazing. I became a Witcher fan before that because
Right.
of that. But and the story is very good too. Some very heart pounding side quests. You're just like, oh my god, like you're literally like crying essentially. Some beautiful stories.
Yeah.
But I remember this one in one of the DLCs, one of the bad guys, it was like a vampire. Now you can take these special potions before you fight any enemy. Now I got to a point where I never took any potions because again, I'm not an RPG guy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I didn't bother creating any potions. I didn't bother collecting any flowers.
It's
Nothing.
like, oh, just go in.
Just go in with the sword swinging, and I was successful. 99% of the game I was able to do that, and I
Yeah.
just destroyed everything. I didn't take
Yeah.
a single potion. The
Oh,
only
wow.
one maybe I took was a health one, maybe once or twice, just to make sure my health is good.
Yeah.
But the specialty potions. But this
Yeah.
one vampire, I could not kill him. And then I found out, I had to read a Reddit, and someone wrote on there, oh yeah, drink this potion and you should be good. I'm like, what? So I went into the wilderness,
Yeah.
found the flowers, make the potion, alchemied it all up, drank it, and
Yeah.
lo and behold, killed the
Yeah.
vampire in like, I don't know, in like record time. And I'm just like, damn it.
You see, like nowadays,
Yeah.
you do have like the internet where you can actually search up guides, right?
Yes.
But like, remember those times when we were younger? There are like, the games that we played. There were like secret levels or like things that you could do.
It was so
And,
hard
like,
to find those guides.
Exactly. You can.
Yeah.
There's no guides or like I remember reading guides that were like TXT,
Yes.
and
I
it would
used
be
to-
like 100 pages that
Yes.
you just scroll down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to go to the library. Sometimes they had the guides of
Oh wow,
specific,
I see.
because
Yeah.
specific games and stuff. And also like I think I used to buy Nintendo Power
Yeah.
magazine, so that one had a bunch of like secrets sometimes. You know, I was like, oh cool.
I do kind of miss some of the games
Yes.
like before that they don't teach you exactly how to play. You have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. No like tutorial or anything.
Yeah.
That's kinda
Or like
nice,
just
actually.
kind of figure it out
Yeah.
on your own.
Yeah. Too much hand holding now. Too much.
I
hand
do remember another JRPG
Yeah.
that I played before.
Yeah.
It's called Suikoden.
Okay.
I think it's probably remastered on Steam right now. I think I just saw it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those games where there's 108 characters
Holy
you can recruit for your team. And I remember playing that. And they don't tell you like
Yeah.
how to recruit them, but you can just recruit them. And like you could also not recruit them.
Yeah.
So you have to find the characters yourself and figure out how to recruit them.
Okay,
And
wow.
also, if you ever let the character die in battle,
Yeah.
they stay dead.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So at the end, it's like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that person is already dead. You can't use them anymore.
That's kind of cool. Actually, you know, that's one of the reasons I like Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Where if you didn't help do a side quest for one of the characters, your side
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
characters, at the end of the game they wouldn't help you.
Oh.
They would die.
It's like,
Actually, they would try to
nope.
help you, but they wouldn't really care, and they would die.
Oh. Yeah, you know,
Very clever. I was
consequences.
like, okay, consequences for your actions. They weren't loyal.
Yeah. Well, if it's like if like, they let you pick options, it's
Yeah.
nice to have like a paid off at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
I
yeah.
agree. So we're at a half an hour mark here. So the next thing I want to talk about is going to take like at least maybe 3 hours. The greatest game I've ever played.
Greatest game. Ooh.
Greatest game. Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, yeah, you've been, I remember you just kind of drawing that game out and then replaying
man.
it and then telling everyone
I
else to
played
replay.
it twice. There's only a
Yeah.
handful of games I played twice. There's that one and the Mass Effect. And I
see.
think I'm probably going to play Witcher 3-ish sometime.
Mm.
But Red Dead Redemption 2 was probably the most story impact.
Yep.
And I still remember when I started, I loved Red Dead Redemption 1. It was a great game, but it wasn't as impactful as number 2. And I still remember, I'm like, what? I have to feed my horse? I'm like, oh my God. I have to brush it to keep it clean. I'm like, what is this? Before you know it, I was making sure I was buying food for my horse all the time, brushing it every 5 minutes,
Yeah.
making sure it was perfect, cleaning it, blah, blah, you name it.
Yeah.
Right? And it was so immersive. I've never played a game that immersive. And, I this is big spoilers that I'm going to say,
Yeah.
right? I know you've never played it. You should still play it.
It's fine.
So the character,
Yeah.
about like, I think halfway through, a little over halfway through, you find out they have TB. Now, I quickly had to Google. I'm like, was there a cure for TB back in the day? There wasn't. No cure. And I was like, oh my God, did this game just give my character a death sentence? And they did.
Yeah.
I've never played a character where knowing the character is like, yeah, I'm going to die. And now all your dialogue has changed, all your behavior has changed, and you can feel that behavior change because you're talking, because you realize your mortality is coming,
Yeah.
right? Or your death is coming, and you're talking to your friends and your enemies, and you're just like, listen, I've made some horrible choices in my life, and it was such a poetic story game, you name it.
Yeah.
To this day.
I think
I have never played a game anything better than that.
I think like death is a very interesting topic, and that's especially why I think Final Fantasy VII was an epic story at the time.
Yep.
It's like we were all in high school when we actually played that game, and like turn-based games, you build your team, you give people, you give your favorite characters the best equipment,
Yes.
you put everything on them, and then in the middle of the game, Eris dies, and you're like,
that's the girl, right?
yeah, that's the girl.
The pretty
so
girl?
that's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the two main girls in the game, Tifa and Aerith, and she dies in the game, and kind of I think in the middle, pretty much.
Oh wow.
And you're just like, what? That's it? And like she's gone, literally, and you're like, oh shoot, okay, like they actually killed off a character that you were really invested in, and it's just like the story goes on without her. So I think that was like the first time people were like, oh, they actually killed off an important character in the game.
Yeah.
But like actually reading all the interviews, they were to the dev now, or not now, but like after that, and they were saying it's like, oh yeah, we really wanted to make a game where it's like if someone leaves, even though they left, they're always still there with you.
Okay. That's kind of cool, like an impact, like impactful.
Yeah.
Like, as I think, what is that? As long as you remember them, they will be there forever.
Yeah.
Kind of idea, right? That's cool.
And I don't know, for me, like I guess there's like certain games that I like, or like now looking back at all the games I like, I guess this is a major spoiler too.
Yep.
All the ones that I like, usually the main character dies in the end too.
Man, you gotta play Red Dead Redemption 2 then, man.
Yeah. And like to me, that's why Persona 3 was one of my favorite games. And then I'm not gonna say the other one, but anyways, there's like quite like I think there's 3 games I can name that I really liked, and
That's okay, you can mention it. Spoilers are fine. I know it might be one of the ones I'm still playing, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, I'm still like, all good.
No,
good.
but here's the thing, right? If you think about it, and to me, this is kind of a story that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
If you acquire so much power, but you're actually facing against a god, and you won.
Yeah.
You fought them and you won.
Yeah.
Like, there would be consequences.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really be like, oh yeah, I just did it and it's a stroke of luck. To me, it's like there needs to be some kind of payoff. So yes, if it did cost them their life, maybe it makes sense because they were fighting something that usually nobody can fight against.
Yeah. Actually, you bring up something interesting because the closest game that I also played twice that I really enjoyed was Cyberpunk, especially Phantom Liberty DLC.
Okay.
That one also very similar to themes that you're mentioning. Actually, the main game too, to be honest. I think the game had its flaws, narratively speaking, like some of the just moments and stories. But overall, just as you described it, because the story was revolving around definitely death as well as reality. Yeah. Because you had the cyberspace, you had this, very fascinating, very fascinating. obviously cyberpunk, right? Futuristic Matrix, all that kind of.
Yep.
And those kind of topics are really cool. And I think that's why that's on my list too of a very impactful game, but not as impactful as obviously Red Dead. But this was also a very good game, you know. And I highly recommend it if you get a chance.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot I haven't played yet that was like very, very good games, like story driven ones. There are actually a lot of good ones that I haven't played. But that's the thing. It's like also now it's like, oh, there's no time. It's hard.
Yeah.
Actually, do you find that also like recent games, they do a lot of things to keep you interested, but like also they're like kind of distractions to the main story.
Oh, totally. And I think a good game will balance those distractions with the main story.
Yeah.
Right? So if you make a good game with side quests, like that's why I consider Red Dead 2 one of the greatest, right? Because the side quests, they aren't related to the main story, obviously, but they fill the world really nicely.
Yeah, I do like side quests with stories.
Yeah.
And I think, well, most games nowadays do the story side quests.
Yeah. But like I mentioned earlier in the beginning, Assassin's Creed Origins, that one I felt the side quests were interesting, but they weren't impactful, if that makes sense. Right? A good game will make the side quest impactful as well.
Yeah.
So this way you want to experience the next side quest. Like Witcher 3 did a very good job with that, with all its side quests.
Yeah.
You know, it always pushed the envelope for side quests.
Yeah, like having good character building, basically.
Exactly.
For those two.
Yeah, very rarely does a game do a good job like that.
I mean, do you actually... So here's another question. Do you think like the type of video game that we play as a kid kind of affect the type of people we become?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, also like TV and movies, but video games wise, I think it's our strategy, you could almost say, right? Mentally. Like, for example, I talked about how I played Command and Conquer and StarCraft, right?
Yeah.
That kind of gameplay, what that did in my work life was basically I would pre-plan everything. And then when you had to create an action, when you implemented the plan, it usually goes according to plan. But even when you plan something, even in the video games, like those type of strategy games, things always go crazy. Oh my God, they sent a nuke. What do you do now? Half your base is gone, right?
Yeah.
So you had to still figure out or pre-plan or adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
So my brain automatically thinks like that. And because of my dyslexia, I'm able to kind of like plan at multiple levels. And then the minute if a plan goes array, I'm able to just switch over to be like, okay, I need to switch my plan ASAP and come with plan B or bring in plan B because I already had it ready to roll kind of idea. And that all started from the strategy, right? Again, it was just how I played these games. And then obviously that went to the stealth games, how I played them.
But you know how like story-centric ones, it's like, okay, you go on this mission and then this is what you're trying to achieve. And most of the games would be like, okay, something goes wrong in that mission.
Yes. Well, that's it. So
yeah, that kind of also like keeps you thinking, I guess.
Exactly. I know people ask me, it's like, oh, but what if your plan doesn't work? I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. We'll go to plan B or D or C or whatever. It doesn't matter. You just keep adapting, right? And that's what video games kind of forced us to do to some degree, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's a good item in my childhood that caused me to think about a lot of things. Yeah. That you normally wouldn't think about, I guess.
Yeah. That's true. And also, I think diversifying your type of games. Right? Whether you play RPGs, JRPGs, or whether you play Mario Kart, you play them all. Right?
Yeah, or action games.
And your brain will learn to adapt to these new type of patterns, gameplays, you name it. Right? And you become indirectly become a well-rounded person.
Gamer.
No, gamer too, but person too, you know?
Yeah. It's I do like to, the different stories in the games are interesting enough to me that like, I think some of my friends now, even if they don't have time to play the game, they'll actually go and watch walkthroughs on YouTube, like the cutscenes and the stories. They're like actually quite invested even though they're not playing it. So yeah, sometimes it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think those cutscenes and stuff are also important, I think. Like watching if you're just gonna watch it. Because I catch myself too. I'll watch like a reaction video, right? It's kind of fun to see. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
this moment's coming. I wonder how they're gonna react, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the most fun I've watched is people playing horror games. I love horror
that's
games,
true.
but
Yeah,
sometimes I'm also too chicken to play it. But like I'll play it, but it's just yeah. I think the last one I played was Outlast, and then
Okay.
before that was like Fatal Frame. But like all those ones are like, it's not action, but it's like kind of helplessness because it is stealth. But like you just get such a shock, and it's like you're fine
Yeah.
when you're just sitting here and doing the controller, but like still when they come chase after you, you're just like
Of course. Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, you remind me of I guess not really a horror game, but my first like horror jump.
Yeah.
It was Half-Life. And it was funny because I played that game. When I first played that game, it was like, I don't know if you remember, it was revolutionary when it first came out. Because
Yeah,
it
I
was
think I remember the name.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first time they released, you were playing a character that was that didn't talk, and you were controlling the character. So it was the first immersive first person gamer, right?
I
So
see.
it was it was fascinating, and people gave that game 11 out of 10 across the
Oh
board.
wow. Okay.
And it was kind of wild. Anyway, so the first time I played it, I didn't install my graphic card. So I'm like, and I played the whole game. I'm like, this is amazing, right? But
I
it
wonder
looked,
what the difference was.
well, that's the thing. I would love to find a video, but no one's played it like that ever.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh my god.
but I
Wow.
played it, and it almost looks like a pixelated 3D game. Super pixelated. Then when I installed the graphic card, I'm like, it looked completely different. And that's going back to the jump scare, obviously, because now I could see everything properly.
Yeah.
I was jumping scared all the time because these crab creatures
Yeah.
would jump on your face all the time. I was just like, oh man.
Oh man,
So
that's
yeah,
crazy.
that was my first horror-ish kind of game.
Yeah, horrorish. I actually like talking about resolutions. Nowadays, how like, we started with console and
Yeah.
then the PC starts getting better, so there's a lot of game ported to PC
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
PC games. And then now we have mobile games.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the mobile games, the graphics are actually getting up there?
They're getting up there, but personally, this is just me though.
Yeah.
I'm not a mobile gamer. I don't enjoy trying to play a story-driven game on my mobile. Like I play
yeah.
Vampire Survivors,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that to me is a quick 5-10 minute game. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? There's no real story behind it. A little bit, but it's nothing I need to be invested in. It's just a fun little collect, destroy. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think if you can, as a gamer, if you can find a good story-driven mobile game, go for it.
Yeah, I don't actually know. I do kind of still give up on the mobile because, like, controller wise, it's actually kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, they do make good ones now, and it's like kind of the perfect size in your palms
Yeah.
because people are just playing on train and everything, right?
Yeah.
The one that I'm really into right now is Honkai Star Rail.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that one is created for the mobile, but they port it to the PC, and I think also they port it to PS5 now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Although, like, if I ever had to do the main story, I'll usually do it on the PC. But like playing it, sometimes I'll play it on the mobile.
Yeah.
It still looks good on the mobile, I think. Yeah, but obviously, they have to lower some of the graphics, and being able to actually have that many different platforms.
Yeah.
It's so hard for the gaming publishers, like, being
It's
in
true.
gaming ourselves. Like nowadays,
Yeah.
it's like so complicated because before you're like, oh yeah, let's make this game for one console, PlayStation,
It's
okay,
true. It's
or
true.
one console, Xbox, okay, that's fine. Now it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, you gotta test it on everything,
It's true.
everything.
Hardly anything crossed over between
Yeah.
different systems.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. And actually, you remind me of mobile. It's funny. I think a game series that would work really well on mobile is point and click adventure,
yeah,
right? Because you just click, move, but you need to have really Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they exist. I just never looked for them or played them.
Yeah, there's
No.
probably some. I mean, those games are fun. Like,
Mm-hmm.
actually, is like something like Among Us also available on the mobile?
Actually, it might be. Actually, I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
right?
surprised. Among Us, yeah, should be. Especially now. I mean, phones are getting so powerful. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised
they
if they have
are.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people do emulators on them, and you can emulate any game you want from
Yeah.
back in the day.
Actually, speaking of
Yeah.
that, I still have like my SNES emulator. So it's like sometimes just
Whoa,
fire up
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Mario
whoa!
every
Mario's
once
gonna
in a while.
find you.
Yeah,
Nintendo's
I
gonna
know.
find
Oops. Oh, I should.
you.
Nope. No, no.
Yeah.
You know, just the pipe, like, yeah, the pipe people.
The
The
pipe people,
plumbers.
the plumbers.
Yeah, the plumbers. I'll play the
Okay, okay.
plumbers every
Yeah.
once in a while. Yeah.
No, that's kind of cool. Like honestly, for me personally, I'm legit excited about Switch 2. You know, I never bought the Switch 1, so for me this is going to be a cool thing to buy.
Yeah.
It just sucks the pre-orders are not available for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the Steam Deck and all that haven't
Yep,
actually. I wasn't really looking into investing in
Mm-hmm.
it, but like actually seeing someone play with it, it's like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I have
Yeah.
a Steam Deck. It's nice. It's nice for travel. But
Yeah.
when I'm at home, I rather just play on my.
Oh, obviously
Yeah.
you want the big monitors.
Of course, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a good chat about
Yeah.
our lives with video games.
Video games.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how it shapes our lives.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. We got to
And-
do a episode about movies and TV.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Because
Yeah.
actually, movies and TV, I think, affected how I saw and interacted with people. That
Yeah.
was a big impact for me. Yeah.
Yeah, those are kind of the things that shapes us, even though
Yeah.
like we don't really talk about it usually. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it shouldn't be affecting you that much, but actually it does. It affects a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We'll call it there. All right.
Yeah. And goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to Pixelated, eh? Hope you walked away with something new. Don't forget to follow. Until next time, keep it in play and power up for what's next.